time. Number 17, Texas Christian at number 19, Kansas. This game is at noon Eastern on FS1. Look here, man. The last time that Kansas was undefeated in the month of October, hosting an undefeated opponent in the month of October, was 1960. And they were 1-0, the Jayhawks, and Syracuse was 2-0. We've got two outstanding football programs in the Big 12 playing for conference supremacy on OU Texas weekend. And we're talking about the Jayhawks and Texas Christian.
Yeah.
Who do you have going to win this game, Geoff?
So this is an interesting matchup because we're getting back to TCU now. So Dykes is the coach there, right? The head coach now at TCU?
Sonny Dykes.
So he's obviously traditional Mike Leach air raid, right? Like, we're going back. That's what he wants to run. And you typically don't see such a big shift in the offense in the first year in the air raid, right? Like you've gone from not running this offense to running this offense full tilt ahead. And right now they're kind of get the best of both worlds. They still have that really good defense they've had for years, plus now a more explosive offense, right? Like right now they enter this game, they've allowed 13, 17, 24, and 24. Like they're playing good defense on top of scoring a bunch of points. And to me, they're just slightly more well-rounded right now than is Kansas. And so the Kansas story is great. I'm glad game day is finally going there. They deserve all this love. I hope Leopold stays there and builds this thing up, right? Because I feel like he's going to get calls from many schools to come guide them. I think TCU is slightly better on defense, and they're on the road, and I don't know how much that matters in the situation, but I just feel like they're slightly better, and that to me is going to make a big difference if you think both offenses are pretty good, which they are. But TCU's defense is just better, so I'll take TCU to win this game.
I got to tell you that I'm very interested to see what Jalen Daniels and Lance Leipold have in store for Texas Christian, because Jalen Daniels has been outstanding when he's good, right? He wasn't so good against Iowa State, but that was an ugly game, and good teams win ugly games. Against Texas Christian, he's going to go against a defensive coordinator that I'm very familiar with. His name is Joe Gillespie. The reason I'm familiar with Coach Gillespie is you recruited my nephew to the University of Tulsa, and he developed one guy you might know by the name of Zaven Collins, right?
Oh, yeah.
That defense was outstanding while he was its coordinator.
Yep.
And he was the kind of dude that would leave no bones about what he wanted to do, right? I want some big, strong, fast guys that can stand up in 1'9" at about 250 pounds, rush the passer, cover the guys in the slot. All of a sudden, he walked into a situation where he's able to recruit just a little bit better. And he's familiar with the terrain, being a former high school football coach in the state of Texas. I think this is going to be a fascinating matchup because I believe it's going to be low scoring. And if Jalen Daniels is going to beat them, he's going to beat those dudes coming off the edge who might get by him or might put him on the ground. If those guys put him on the ground, it's going to be a long day for Kansas. If you get by those guys and make plays down the field, I like Kansas in this one. Let's talk about a game that I know is big in your neck of the woods, or at least I should say, the conference that you follow the closest in the way that I follow the Big 10 and the Big 12. Number 11, Utah at number 18, UCLA. I will fully admit, Geoff, when I looked at this game on the schedule, I did expect Utah to be in this position. I did not expect UCLA to be in this position. Them being perfect and Utah being, well, the defending Pac-12 champion.
Yeah.
Who do you got here?
Oh man, this game is really tough. I wrote about it today for Fox Sports for us, and I'm conflicted here. UCLA played so much better than I thought they would against Washington. I think Washington was a little bit overvalued, but defensively UCLA did a great job. Right, Washington throws the ball out to the numbers a ton, and they just sat on the zone after basically the first drive and just said, "We're not letting you win this way." And for many years they hadn't done adjustments like that. And then offensively, DTR and his connection with Jake Bobo has been better, I think, to ever imagine. It kind of takes the place of Kyle Phillips and Dietrich, who left last year at tight end. But Utah has Clark Phillips at corner. And if Clark Phillips travels with Bobo, what can UCLA do offensively throwing the ball if that's not your option now? That's my concern for the Bruins. If they become one-dimensional, having to run the ball and protect DTR, I think this offense moves the ball less. If Phillips doesn't travel with Bobo, then I think they have a chance to move the ball down the field a little bit better. But Phillips, man, is legit. First-round draft pick, just had 3 interceptions this past weekend. He can play. On the flip side, UCLA's defense, as I mentioned, played better than I thought they would against Washington. Utah's a different animal, right? They're going to run first, play action pass, but their issue offensively is Brent Keithy's out for the season. They're all-world tight end. Last weekend, we saw a little bit of Devon Vele take over a little bit at wide receiver, best game of his career, which he has to do. But the offense was just kind of like sluggish. So to me, I lean Utah ever so slightly, but I would take UCLA plus 4.5 as it sits right now. I think plus 4. I think Utah in the end does enough to win this game. They've been in this spot a lot more than UCLA has. Remember last year, UCLA beat LSU at the Rose Bowl and then put up a stinker against Fresno the next weekend. One last thing about this. Utah hosts USC next weekend, the weekend afterwards. I don't think they're a look-ahead type team, but that's a big look-ahead spot, right? Like you're going to a Rose Bowl, it's kind of low energy there, and you have USC on your schedule the next weekend. I wonder if they come out a little bit flat, but in the end, I'll take Utah to win this game ever so slightly.
Well, hell, dog, it ain't exactly high energy at the Coliseum. I mean, we're still waiting on them to sell out a game. That team's undefeated.
That game will be in Salt Lake City.
Oh, that game is in Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City, yes.
That's at Rice Eccles. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I take it back. I'm sorry.
The Coliseum never sells out. I don't know why people think it's going to sell out. It's not.
I think you have a really great point though about Fresno State last year, right? And LSU. Turns out that LSU team wasn't very good. That Fresno State team was very good. So it actually went the way that it should have. And Fresno State had to fight, claw, do everything in its power to beat that UCLA team last year. And I think they also learned from that. But I'm curious about how much Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Zach Charbonnet are going to have to say about this, because against Washington, as much as we know that Washington is not the defensive power that they have been in years past, I mean, Charbonnet had 124 on the ground. I want to say DTR had 323 through the air.
It was DTR's best game of his career. It's his 5th year starting. I think he's the first 5th-year starter of all time in college football. 5th-year quarterback. It's never been done before because of the COVID year, right? I don't know anyone that started. It's his 5th season. So he's playing like he's in his 5th season. He's playing the best of his career. He's completing nearly 75% of passes. But again, you have a Utah defense that they have not seen this season, right? Again, easiest schedule through 4 games of all Power 5 teams. They get a Washington defense that is transitioning after losing 2 corners in the draft, different defensive coordinator. And so they have not seen, again, a Utah defense that's playing really well. They're running, to your point, though, stopping the run has just been a little bit off this season for them. But Clark Phillips and Cole Bishop in the back end, they have linebackers. They have a defense that UCLA has not seen yet. And so, again, I wonder if they take away Jake Bobo, where does the passing come from for the Bruins?
Last question I have for you on this game. Does the winner of this game play in the Pac-12 championship game?
It's a great question. The tougher road, actually, they both have tough roads because Utah, they both go to Oregon. UCLA plays Oregon the following weekend, and then Utah plays Oregon later in the season. They both have USC on their schedule because they still have that South schedule, essentially. I trust Utah more than UCLA. I think that Utah is going to regret losing to Florida by the time the season's over, because they're going to be 12-1 or 11-2 with that loss and not in the playoffs. I'm still rolling with Utah here. I think there's a possibility that there's kind of a round robin of everyone beating each other at some point because they all play each other this year.
I'm really interested to see the winner of this game, because I do believe that the winner of this game is going to get a spot in the Pac-12 championship game, which basically means that I'm saying that either Oregon or USC is the other team that I believe is going to play in the Pac-12 championship game. It's a really, really fascinating conference all of a sudden, mostly thanks to UCLA and Oregon and Washington deciding we're going to be about something. Washington State said, oh yeah, us too. Next game on the schedule for you and I, number 8 Tennessee at number 25 LSU at Tigers Stadium. This is the point that I want to raise, and I'm sure producer Kat is enjoying this one. Tennessee plays one of the toughest schedules in America every year, just like the Arkansas Razorbacks, for the nature of the way the schedule always lays out for them. They're going to have to play Georgia. They're going to have to play Florida. If Kentucky's good, they got them. If Missouri's good, they got them. They got South Carolina in a good year. And oh, by the way, their crossers, every year they're going to play Alabama. And then they're going to get a team like LSU. That said, I think they're coming up on their 3rd ranked opponent in 5 games. What do you think it says that Tennessee is in a position to continue to remain undefeated with a ranked win against an LSU, or that LSU might be able to knock them off?
What is LSU though? Like I don't like, what are they, RJ? Like I know what Tennessee is.
I didn't rank them.
What is LSU? Like I don't know what they are. They just won a game with a post-game win percentage of 8%, right? Like they won a game they really should not have won. What are they on offense, right? Like is Jane Daniels healthy? Is he playing? I was never really that impressed with Arizona State. He's been very up and down this season. You know, defensively, LSU has good numbers, but they have not played offense. I mean, they've had Florida State, Southern, Mississippi State, who is a decent offense, New Mexico, Auburn. I mean, Tennessee's offense, the pace, the up and down nature of it, like they haven't seen that yet. Most teams don't see an offense like Tennessee's. I just don't know what LSU is. I know what Tennessee is. They're pretty good. Now they're on the road again. I don't know if they're looking ahead to Alabama, who they play next weekend, the weekend after that, I should say. But I lean Tennessee here. I think they're just a better team. I just don't know what LSU is, and that's concerning to me.
I think I'm with you in that you're saying we don't know who LSU is, but we seem to have an idea of who Tennessee is. And they established that with the win against Florida, but also they're in another mental challenge, right? They hadn't beaten Florida in so long, and they have lost to LSU in their last 5 meetings. This feels like the first opportunity for them to end that trend, and to do that not at home like they did against Florida, but on the road, I think would do more for their psyche and for the psyche of their fans moving forward, is I think that they're going to give Alabama every bit of what they want. Alabama seems vulnerable, and if Tennessee can make light work of LSU, I think we're all going to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to trying to beat the #1 team in college football come the 3rd week of October. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.